who do you think the Carolina Panthers have traded all the way up to 1 to go get? Who do you think?
Wow. I mean, it's a difficult question. I'll answer it this way, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I think the notion that CJ Stroud is the runaway favorite is inaccurate. My sources have told me that the Panthers are enamored with both players, and they're going to, kind of go through their process of all the visits, continue to study the tape, and make a decision closer to draft day than right now. So CJ Stroud, of course, there's everyone talking about the height of Bryce Young and how Frank Wright likes bigger quarterbacks. But I would just say, maybe pump the brakes on that just a little bit. I think Bryce Young's size matters more to us in the media than it does to some of these higher-level executives. At least that's what I've been told.
What advice would you give to the quarterback that finishes second, like you, back in the day in the draft, Robert? What advice would you give to that kid?
Rich, I think the way you just put it is perfect. If you ask Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, where they want to go, they view this as a competition. So they want to go number 1 overall, regardless of the team's weapons, the expertise that they're going to be working with. They just look at this as a competition because that's how we've been conditioned to operate. So my advice to the guy that goes second would be to just continue to have that chip on your shoulder and continue to look at it as a competition, because you're going to be compared to the guy that goes over number 1 overall for the duration of your career, and honestly for the duration of your life. It's what happened with me and Andrew Luck. I would say that Andrew Luck had a better NFL career than I did. But at the end of the day, that's not how you're going to be judged as far as being a human being, as far as being a father, as far as being a son. But there's no doubt about it. These guys will continue to compete for the rest of their lives, and they know that.
Were you wined and dined and wooed by the Colts at all in that process too, Robert? The due diligence, were you part of that with the Colts as well?
I'll be 100% honest, and as always, and say no. I was not wined and dined by the Colts. The Colts put it out there throughout the draft process leading up that they were, debating whether it was going to be me or Andrew, but every sign and signal that they showed me was that they had already decided who their quarterback was going to be. I didn't get a private visit or personal visit from the Colts. None of that stuff happened. So I kind of knew going in to the draft that I wasn't going to be selected number 1 overall. It was just a matter of, was Washington going to pick me at number 2? And then that's what ended up happening. So I think that the Panthers are doing right by both players by not showing any favoritism to anyone. And even more so, they're going further because they went to every top quarterback's pro day with the full gambit of Mr. Tepper and his wife and the GM and all the coaches. So I think they're doing it the right way. Yeah,
and they're taking everybody out to dinner too. So I guess that's my way of the big wind-up here, is that if the Colts had taken you out to dinner and you sensed that they weren't going to take you, would you have run up the tab on them, Robert?
Definitely wouldn't have. I wouldn't have ran up the tab on them.
No, come on, get the seafood tower, and I'm not through yet. Wait a minute, I'll get the steak. I don't really drink very much, but I'll take the Screaming Eagle. Wouldn't you do that? Do the whole thing?
No, I think if the Colts would have really dove in and went into that process with an open mind, I think I could have convinced them that I was the guy for the job, and my career would have ended up a lot different than it did there in Washington. But at the end of the day, they made the decision. I think it was a great decision for them. Andrew Luck, Brent brought them a lot of wins, and I don't think that they're upset about that decision at the end of the day. And that's what I hope CJ Stroud and Bryce Young get from the teams that select them, along with Will Levis and Anthony Richardson and Hendon Hooker and everyone else you can mention. I just hope they go to a team that is bought in on them from top to bottom, because that's the only way that these teams will truly give these quarterbacks an opportunity to go out and be the best versions of themselves. Finding a quarterback in this league is extremely hard. You don't want any dissension in the ranks when you're making that decision.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.